There's no electricity in New York.
I have to have my mise en place, and I have to do all the dishes, and I use all the dishes, and I use all the dishes.
Cool. You're stuck in customs for an entire day.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
Shall we play a game?
You're traveling to another dimension. A dimension not only of plastic and paint, but of games. A journey into a wondrous land where meeples become real and cardboard cuts like a knife. That's a signpost up ahead, your next stop. The Funk Zone.
Welcome.
Okay, we can get started now.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Funkatronic Rex podcast. With me, as always, is my good friend Paul.
Hello.
Paul, and I'm Chris, in case you guys forgot. It has been a few, a hot minute since we've recorded-ish, but whatever, it's fine.
Been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks. You've had a break.
It's not our longest between recordings we've had.
That's true. That's fine, but we keep pumping them out. We're going to keep going. Like, you've had a break. I was just on a break, and then I'm going back on a vacation. Yes, we're on a break. We said we were on a break, which is great because this vacation, I'm really looking forward to this.
Good.
It's been.
You're going to be gone for, 2 weeks?
Yes.
That's wild.
Yes. So.
That's so long.
Our plan, like, the plan that we think of, like, as adults, like, we're going to do a small vacation one year and a big vacation the next year. That sounds like a great idea. It just totally hasn't happened. I think it's been like 2 or 3 years since we've done really anything. Small trips every now and then.
Right.
So the wife's parents have a condo in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And then since they have a condo there, they can get us a discount. So they go, we'll help chip in toward the place to stay if you guys can fly out. Like, and we're like, we'll figure that out, man. We're going to get out there. So we leave for the lovely island of Maui this Saturday. Whatever date coming up, I know we've recorded this. You're welcome. So, and we just got back from a week-long, oh my gosh, I wouldn't even call it vacation, a week-long trip to Cooperstown for the kids' baseball team, which was insane, dude.
Was it good?
Well, define
insane
good.
Is a pretty broad word.
In fantasy, I would say define good, right? So his baseball team's okay. It's not great.
They're exceptional.
They're exceptional in their mediocrity. No. They were. I mean, these kids. They're kids. They're 12U, right? And they play much like actual baseball teams. So there's majors, then AAA, AA, single A in the real world of baseball. So the
eggs. We talked about this last episode. So
he's AA, and at Cooperstown, you play against AA, AAA, and majors teams. So it's a range of stuff. Whoever wants to go can go. It's a week-long tournament. You play 5 games in the pool play, and then it becomes single elimination depending on where you land, and you get in a bracket, all that stuff.
Right. And single elimination is where they just start picking kids off one by one, right?
Yes, it's very much Hunger Games. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Do they use crossbows, bows and arrows?
Actually, it's really
trebuchets?
it's the bats with like razor blades or nails in it.
Okay.
They really commit.
Yeah.
They really commit to it.
Okay.
Hand grenades as opposed to baseballs. It's fantastic. So
that'd be hard to. Hand grenades would make it hard. We shouldn't be making these jokes.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We can always edit that out. But
we'll fix it in post.
So we go out there and my God, Paul, I can't tell you how much I miss the color green. Now, the Cooperstown is in middle upstate New York.
Right.
It rains a lot, as we found out.
What's a rain?
Exactly. It monsoons a lot. Right? It is so green. So Cal is in the back of the car and he's like, Dad, oh my, everything's so green. And I'm
like, is this what the rest of the world looks like?
Yes. He's like, where's the brown and the dead stuff? And I was like, Cal, sorry, bud, it rains like this. Water is life. And when we're driving through New York, he's like, this is hot. And I felt so like I could feel like, oh my God, I just feel like the world around me is actually alive. And I'm like, oh, this feels so good. Now, the flip side of that is, of course, Kyle got card sick and he barfed all over the place. But
Perfect.
shockingly enough, like, I didn't realize just how bad his car sickness was. But we're like, dude, that's half hour into the flight to Chicago. So we fly
Really?
from Phoenix to Chicago to Syracuse, and drove down. Half hour in the flight, yaks. I'm like, that sucks. Luckily, he did it in the aisle, not over himself or anybody else.
Okay.
Like, he tried to get up and go to the bathroom, and someone literally, as he was walking, someone walks into the bathroom, and you can see his face like, it's coming out. Like, never thought I'd ever hold a barf bags. Mm-hmm. Those barf bags you have on the plane, which don't work, by the way. Like, those guys are leaky as hell. It was like, oh, just barf into the,
I mean,
God.
it contains most of it.
No, it did, and it thankfully. And then we got a garbage bag from the stewardesses, the flight attendants. Mm-hmm. And of course, they're like, no, this is your barf. You have to hold on to it. We can't, bodily fluids. And we're like, so we have to sit with a bag of barf in 2.5 hours. Now,
that feels weird.
It was a little weird.
They don't have a receptacle to contain it?
I think I don't know. But they did. I didn't complain because they had to clean up the aisle.
The bodily fluids that they
Yes.
can't touch.
Right. But
Got
they all had gloves on and all that stuff,
Sure.
right? Yeah. So
Yeah, they couldn't take your
they
barf
couldn't
bag
take
with their
barf bag.
gloves.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's weird. So it's fine.
Whatever.
But we finally get there.
Right.
Now, Cooperstown, for those that are uninitiated in the world of sports and the baseball, Cooperstown is very much like Disneyland or like a Comic-Con, right? It is baseball unlimited, man. There's no break from it.
No limit.
No limit. You are surrounded
It's
by
unlimited.
live, eat, and drink baseball, right?
Got it.
So the kids were in this cabin or barracks, bunk beds.
Barracks.
No. So every week it's 100 different teams.
Okay.
So you show up and there's 100 barracks.
Uh-huh.
All the kids get checked in. Both coaches, the team sleeps in the barracks. The coaches, everybody. You got to bring a little sleeping bag or whatever. It's like summer camp, sleepaway camp, but it's all baseball.
So it's like filled with cots and stuff, right?
Exactly.
Or is it bunks?
Yeah, bunk beds.
Okay.
So nice bunk beds, but still bunk beds. They have
I would imagine it's probably like an old World War II training camp or something.
I don't know what it was. I think they built it new, but with the amount of kids and people they push through, I mean, it's not like they're poor.
Gotcha.
Like it's nice.
Sure.
But they did finally apparently put in air conditioning this year in those things. And now, as I mentioned, upstate New York is very green.
Right.
Or very green, which means there is a lot of
Electric cars.
A lot of electric cars, a lot of moisture. Yes, there's plenty of charge points. when we were renting the car, they're like, do you want an electric car? And I'm like, is there going to be electricity there? Like, where are we? Like, we're in the middle of nowhere, like
Right.
the Catskills or something. Which is true because, like, the drive there, we're just riding down a 2-lane road. Mm-hmm. And so we stayed at a little town called Fly Creek just outside of Cooperstown. And we're following our GPS, driving down, and then GPS makes me turn left, which looks like I go into someone's driveway.
Okay.
But it's a road. Mm-hmm. And it's getting dark out. And there ain't no lights, man. Okay, again, no electricity out there in New York. And actually drive past it, and Kyle's like...
Yeah, the entire city of New York City doesn't have any electricity. There's no electricity in New York.
Well, at least in this part. So I drive past this person's driveway, which apparently is a road, and it is even smaller, like a 1.5-lane road. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, is this a horror movie? Dude, it is luscious and green and dark. How are we gonna find our Airbnb? Like, there's
Right.
the classic, you come up to the intersection and there's this one lonely light swinging in the breeze that's like yellow on the one side and red on the other side. And hopefully you don't pull up to the red side because you're going to die because someone's going to come out and get you. So we're just driving and we're all like, Hopefully we get there. We did finally get there. The Airbnb was fantastic. And then we get up and check in. Now, as we check into this bunkhouse, we're looking at the list of teams, and there's 5 teams from Arizona. So we kind of knew people, which was kind of cool. Somehow we're like, hey, like some of Cal's old teammates are on a team. Like this, hey guys, what's up? Arizona. And, so fast forward to them having fun and checking in that first day. The games were rough. Not gonna lie, they were. Like I said, our team is, I would say, okay, right? For a double-A team, the kids play their heart out. They do really well, but we run across 3 teams that are majors.
Okay.
So they're out of Georgia, but they would travel to, different states to compete in tournaments. So as I always said, if you travel, you don't suck. Like,
sure,
you're going to probably win that. This one team we played, the score was 37-0 in baseball. They hit 23 home runs. Not quite a record, but I mean, the 37-0 was a record. Sorry. I was like, all you guys got to do is make it out of this inning.
Right.
When it was 35-0, and we'll be fine because the other record is 36-0. As we found out, because the other game we played, we're all like, so how bad could this get? Okay, as long as we don't go as bad as 36-0. We're 36-0, and then another home run, 37-0, and then we finally got out of the game and got run ruled out.
Hey, but now you guys are famous.
We are. Yes. His baseball team is now famous. It's in the books.
Infamous.
So it was just, if anybody's listening that has kids or family that goes to Cooperstown, if you're a good team, have fun. It is the Disneyland of baseball. And by Disneyland, I mean, once you come in, you will never leave, and everything's really expensive inside the park, like stupid expensive. The only thing that was at all, well, obviously you have hot dogs. So the hot dog is $4.50.
Okay.
Slice of pizza is $4.
Okay.
I had way too much pizza. Like, I never thought, like...
Those rates are high, but not
it's
unacceptable.
Right. It wasn't too bad, but just enough to be like, after a week, you're like...
Sure.
I would love to have something that's not as expensive as, I guess I'm going to have pepperoni pizza.
And were they like Costco hot dogs where they're the quarter-pound all beef?
Yeah, quarter-pound. Honestly, I don't know. I never did get a hot dog.
Or were they the little dinky?
I had a feeling they were the little ones that
probably
sat there for a bit.
Probably Nathan's. Which, to be fair, Nathan's are good.
Nathan's are
good hot
fine.
dogs.
Yeah, like Nathan's.
Probably bar S.
Oh my gosh, no! I think it's probably close to those value dogs you get at the D-back stadium, which are fine. I mean, you're watching a game, you're having popcorn and hot dog, but this hot dog looks like it's been in this packaging for a couple of years. It's a little wrinkly, like.
It's the leftover meat at the processing plant floor.
I don't want to spend $4 on tube meat, not if I can help it. But yes, so that was our last week before we run off to Hawaii, was out there in Cooperstown. And I got to say, it rained every day. We had a game that was supposed to start at 7 p.m. I think it was our first or second game. It rained so hard, our game starts at 10:30.
Wow.
And we played
until... It's a late game.
Oh, yeah. And then our next game the next morning was at 9. It too got rained out. Let's not be like, nothing actually ever started on time except for the last 2 games. But everything was pushed back. Like the previous week, the championship game, which was supposed to be at, I think it starts at 9. Late games didn't start till 2 a.m.
Goodness gracious.
So it's the last game. You got to play the last championship game. These are the top 2 teams of the tournament. They're going to play. So it rained every day, and it was, I think, the wife was like, oh, this rain is awesome. But after 4 or 5 days, she's like, okay, all right, okay.
I've had enough rain.
I like it because being a desert person, oh my gosh, there's water falling from the sky. This is a miracle.
Yeah, the sky's falling.
The sky's falling, and we're all going to die. No, we're going to be fine. But even then, she was like, okay, it can take a break. And it did for our last 2 games. So we were in second to last place. Mm-hmm. We played the last place team. That's how it works. So 99 and 100. We won a game. Woo!
Good job.
So that was it. Like the goal
Way
of our
to go,
team.
Cal's team. Way to go.
The goal was to win one game, and they got it. That was it because we knew like
That's good.
our coach kind of set expectations in the.
So
fact
does
that,
the organizers not really pay attention to the like tiers of the teams?
I think,
or is there just not enough teams that they can?
I think it's a random draw. Like, okay, here's 100 teams, and you're going to get this team. Like we
That
played a
kinda
game
sucks.
that was close. We still lost it, but it was like 12-10 or something like that. So
Right.
we were in it, and or 12-9. I don't know. Still
Because
lost.
like I
but-
feel like you're spending all this money, you're going all the way out there. The organizers, I would imagine. Now, I don't know. Maybe they can't. Maybe there's not a way to know how good a team is until they get there.
I mean, that's kind of. I mean, I'm sure they could look it up, but if you're dealing with 100 teams and each team has like 14 kids, like that's a lot
Right.
of people. That's a lot of bodies to push through. They're like,
Sure.
so just show up. Now, here's the crazy thing. To play a game at Cooperstown, you have to bring a birth certificate for your child. You have to prove that they are 12 years old.
Interesting.
Now, as a side note, I don't know what these kids are eating in Georgia. Apparently, Georgia is Mecca for baseball. I don't know. Or Texas. You would fit in, Paul.
Great.
There was a kid walking around with a days-old beard and like, hey, guys, you want to play some baseball? And I'm like, dude, how old are you?
That's
You
fantastic.
He was there, like,
So he was the printer's son.
yes, apparently the printer's son. Or that was probably a reference that I don't get.
It wasn't really a reference. It was more just saying like they probably forged his birth certificate.
Well, I mean, I have no doubt that some people now there's tall kids. We've run across them here in Phoenix during our last season, but
kids are wildly big these days.
like wild. It was so on the team that smashed us. The shortest kid was my height,
yeah,
and I'm 5'7", 5'8" on a
wild.
good day. It was wild. Now we have two above average kids on our team.
Right.
And Cal is a bigger kid, but he's not that. But it's like, oh my God, we're running into a brick wall here. You guys are like chewing tobacco and smoking and like, hey guys, you want to play some games? Like, how? Wait, seriously? Did you drop your kid off at daycare before you came to camp?
Spoilers. It was just an MLB team. Just
oh,
like
I have no doubt it was an actual AA team that rolled in. Yes, the Modesto Nuts or the Hillsboro Hops, to name some of the ones that we ran into.
Phoenix Firebirds.
Phoenix Firebirds, exactly. Now Cooperstown is beautiful. It's all baseball. The Hall of Fame is awesome. Every shop is like baseball. So if you love baseball, obviously you probably already know, but this place is fantastic. It's a quaint, small little town. There's a diner there that was so small. Do you remember Matt's Big Breakfast here in Phoenix?
I remember
like
that.
the little guy. Like they had a little bar and like literally 3 tables.
Yeah.
So they had a diner, like a breakfast joint, just that size. No wait, no waiting list, no nothing. You just hang out and look through the window and stare at people as they ate to be like, are you gonna finish? When are you done? Hey, come on, hurry up! I want to.
You can have this conversation outside.
Yeah, right. You are finished. Put the coffee down. So we went in. The breakfast was so awesome. It was so delicious. One of the few places that wasn't overrun with baseball. But again, being what do they call it? The not mythical, but like the pseudo birthplace of baseball, allegedly, right? That's the idea of Cooperstown, and they have a field where it was started and all that stuff. So if you love baseball and you love that stuff, I do think that Cooperstown is absolutely like a trip to go. And now that Cal's gone, like later on, if he has kids, he can go and his team's little, so their pin, everybody makes pins for their baseball team. And it is like crack cocaine, dude. These pins are traded like kids are walking by like, hey man, you got any pin? Hey man, you got any pins? Dude, I got a pin for you. Oh yeah. And it is scary how intense this pin trading is happening. But so you put a pin on the wall, so when you go back, you could be like, I was here in 2025.
Yeah.
And that's my pin right there. So Cal got to do it a couple of places. His pin got put on the wall. So hopefully if he has kids and those kids want to play baseball and then those kids go to Cooperstown, he can be like, there I am, that's me right there, which is super cool. But yeah, that's why.
Did you see your pin?
No, I did not. Because they didn't have a gaming. They didn't have a Hall of Geekdom next to the Hall of Baseball fame, right? Like, oh yes, there's the original character sheet from when Chris played when he was 10, right there, framed in on the plaque there. Oh my gosh, no, and that was sadly why I could not come up to the cabin with you guys.
That's all right.
So,
That's right.
Which I totally was like, but Corey was like, why are you sad? And I'm like, well, Paul, I had a chance to go gaming in the cabin.
Yeah. Well,
And you're like, well,
next time you should, just not support sports.
that's right. Sorry, guys, I gotta go. But we're all going as a family. Shh. I have priorities, okay? I'm gonna go to the gaming cabin and hang out. It's awesome. How was gaming at the cabin, by the way?
Welcome to our board gaming and baseball podcast.
We talk about life. If there's anything you've learned from the past couple episodes, we do love talking about it.
Less exciting than a week of watching my kid get crushed in baseball. Every year I try to go up to the cabin. We talked about this.
Yeah.
And this year we got our opportunity to go. I've also said this on the podcast a few times recently. I've had a lot of chaos in my life since the beginning of the year.
Yep.
The chaos has finally subsided. So,
Good.
But in the midst of all that chaos in February, my stepmom had said, "Hey, we're going to be out of town on these days, so it's your turn to have the cabin.
Yes.
If you want it." I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely."
Yes.
And I texted Josh, and I was like, "Hey, can we do this?" He's like, "Yeah." Fast forward 4 months, my life gets turned upside down.
Right.
And I'm hanging out it was my dad's birthday at the end of May. And so we're at the birthday party. I'm like, hey, when was the date I was getting the cabin again? She goes, oh yeah, that's next week. Oops. Or it was 2 weeks. But at any rate, it was like, oh wow, I'm totally unprepared for this. Q had started to make plans. He was able to cancel them.
Yeah.
So we ended up going. It was just Q, me, and my kiddo, and but we had a good time. It was a lot of games. It was
as it should be. I mean, it's the gaming cabin, right? Basically.
Well, it becomes the gaming cabin for a few days. We went up we went up Wednesday night. We were going to go up Thursday. We switched it to Wednesday night, which is a great call because we ended up getting like an extra half a day of gaming.
Yeah.
Went up Wednesday night, and we just played a lot of Marvel Champions.
The game that we've talked about, we haven't talked about that much, actually. No, I'm kidding. So, like, did you just start playing because we played a little bit before I left, and we did your, what's the phrase? It's not tournament, but the
campaign.
Thank you. The campaign version of the box that you got.
Yeah.
And did you keep playing that? Or
So in the last episode, I had said we started the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
campaign with Magneto and Black Widow. And
Magneto was smoking, dude.
Wild.
You did. I just watched, and admittedly, I just watched. I'm like, so that's how you play this game. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to activate this, and then I'm going to activate this, and I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to activate this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to play this, and I'm going to do this. I'm like, wow. Go, Paul.
I do this, and this makes me stronger.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So we finished that campaign. I played Magneto the whole way through. Mm-hmm. I didn't really change my deck much. Q reiterated his Black Widow deck a few times, but we played that all the way through. So we finished that, the last like 3 missions we had or whatever. And we go in to do... I brought up other games. Like I had my trunk was full of just games. Yeah. In hindsight, I didn't bring enough variety of games. I brought too many similar games and then too many... there was like, we brought up, Q had never played the Dark Souls board game. My kid was really enjoying it. And I knew he was coming. So I was like, hey, let's bring up Dark Souls. Yeah. The Dark Souls board game is way too many boxes because you have all the Kickstarter bullshit. It's a whole nother conversation. But
That's going to be an episode. We will definitely circle back to that.
you keep pushing for it.
I want to see Paul get angry. Maybe we'll have Mike here on that one too.
Right.
Yeah. Now, Dark Souls. That sounds familiar. Is it a?
It's based on a video game.
Okay. Is it just a board game, or does it have miniatures, or is it?
Yeah. So the board game version of Dark Souls, there's like two or three variations of it.
Okay.
Of the game, or different games based on that IP. But the game that I have is the first board game, which is a miniatures game. Mm-hmm. It's best described as a dungeon crawler in terms of what we apply to board games.
Great.
You set up a tile, you move your minis around the tile, the enemies come at you. It's fully cooperative, so...
Right. So it's like you're playing an adventure party going through this dungeon thing, right? And as you go into each room, you put the room map down, you fill it in, and you say like, oh, now there's this monster over here and here.
It's real abstract. The room tiles are... excuse me, real basic, but for the most part, yes. The problem with the game is it takes too long to do things, and then the really fun, cool part of the game that you're building up toward is, oftentimes pretty short. So the payoff isn't quite there. It's not a great game, but it's a good, solid, like, co-op minis dungeon crawler.
Great.
There's been a lot of like fan edits and house rules that hopefully help correct a lot of the issues with it. But we played a game of that. What's really cool, what I really like about the game, the one thing that I really love about it is in the Dark Souls video game, one of the things that is real, it's infamous for is it's incredibly brutal, incredibly difficult. This board game is not that. But the way you get good at it, it's a skill-based game. So you're not you're not playing, you can't accidental into being good at Dark Souls. You have to practice, you have to be focused on it, you have to learn the game. Mm-hmm. And the way it works is you learn what the bosses or the enemies' movements are and kind of what their tells are that they're going to do a certain thing. And so then you learn the timings and you learn when you need to block, when you need to roll, that kind of thing, when you have openings to actually strike.
Right.
And so the game is entirely built around, if you're a fan of Dark Souls, it's about learning the game. And then once you learn the game, if you practice at it and you get good at it, then you can it feels very rewarding. You can go through completely naked with nothing on your character except for a wooden stick.
Right.
And you can defeat the end boss.
You can survive and battle the boss at the end.
Yeah.
All right.
It takes a long time because you're doing no damage, but you can do
you're
it.
Poking him with a stick. It's fine. Yeah.
So it's really cool in that. And so what they did in the board game to simulate that aspect of it is the boss enemies that you fight. Mm-hmm. The basic enemies they just do the same thing every time. It's very board gamey. The boss enemies have a small deck of cards. It's usually like 4 or 5 cards. And then you flip over the top card and it does that attack. Mm-hmm. And then you flip over the next card, it does that attack.
Right.
And then once you've gone through all 4 or 5 cards, you just flip the deck back over and you don't shuffle it. So you can learn the pattern of the attacks that they're going to do.
Yep.
And it's really cool in that way. So it's very similar to the board game, or I'm sorry, the video game. So the game is neat. We played it once. It took up way too much volume of the car for the amount of time we spent on that game.
Yeah.
We played Heat with the kiddo once. That Heat's always a great time.
Yes.
It was, very. There's not much to say other than what we've already talked about. We had a great time.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Heat's we'll circle back to it because I think there's a new.
We can talk about it. So while we were playing it, I was like, when does that next expansion come out? I looked it out, and sure enough, it's out. So we picked it up after the cabin trip. I have it in my
hot little hands right here.
It looks really cool. It adds the purple car.
Heat Tunnel Vision is the newest one.
I got tunnel vision.
Yes, and speeding through tunnels is risky, but no one is slowing down, so put your pedal to the metal. This is awesome.
Seems like a very basic expansion.
Yeah.
There's
adds a new car, you said? So it has another new color car?
yeah, it adds a new color car and all
Right.
the cards you need to play with that one car.
Mm-hmm.
It adds a new two new tracks, which is one board double-sided, as they do. España and what was the other one? Should say it on there.
2 tracks, double-sided. Let's see. 1965 championship season. And the new.
Oh my goodness, you're killing me. Give me the damn box.
No, hold on. The Netherlands.
There we go.
And the Spanish Grand Prix. Prix.
Yeah.
So Espanol and the Netherlands.
Yep.
Great.
So, and in both tracks, it features tunnels. Mm-hmm. My brief understanding of how the tunnels work is you can't slipstream in tunnels. There's you can't pass cars basically.
Okay.
While you're in the tunnels is kind of my understanding of how it works.
Seems a little dangerous to do that in a tunnel. So yeah, you want to just get through the tunnel,
makes
get
it
to
a little
the
bit
side.
more restrictive.
Great.
Other than that, the expansion's very basic. It adds a couple new upgrades, which are always fun. It adds one new upgrade mechanic.
It's the new front wing upgrade. Is that?
Yep.
So as I like to say, this is good.
So looks, I'm excited to play it. So hopefully in the near future we can run a game. And there were a couple people that came up to me afterwards that were saying they were liking the podcast and that Heat sounded super cool. So maybe we can get a couple people involved in that race. But
I think
I can play up to eight race cars now.
8 people.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy, but also fantastic. I know we played this. I think we played it twice now. I think I enjoyed the heck out of Heat, and we talked about the idea of bringing the kids in and play. And I think both of our kids would enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Nothing crazy. The look, the feel, the vibe, and the play style of it. I think it would be really good.
It's funny. We were playing it, and my kiddo. We'd played a bunch. Me and my kiddo, and. We were having a good time, and then we played it at the cabin, and he I guess we hadn't played it in a while, and so he decided to play incredibly conservatively. It didn't go well for him. I took upgrades, because we play with the upgrades now, which I think are a lot of fun. I took a couple of upgrades that made my car really good at, taking turns and that kind of thing, managing my heat. My car was very consistent. Mm-hmm. That also meant it had a very consistent speed.
Right.
Q took a couple upgrades that let him just shoot super fast.
Rocket engine, that sounds great.
And of course, the map that we ended up choosing was the one with the huge straightaway.
Oh, yeah. So if he
So I did great in those little turns, and I would get out of those turns first, and I'd be set up.
Right.
And then I'd get on that big straightaway, and then Q would just go,
suckers!
And then he'd get up to the turns, and it was okay, he starts slowing down. I pass him in the turns.
Yeah.
And then I get out of the turns and and of course the finish line is toward the end of that straightaway, which it should be in regular racing. So he had the better built car and took the race. So
cute. How dare you? No, that sounds awesome. Yes, I definitely think we should circle back to Heat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially since Mike has got the new expansion as well to check out and play.
The other game I brought the Star Wars deck building game, which we played and we talked about on an episode.
Yeah.
Q did not like it. He's not a big fan of competitive games. If anyone's been listening and picking up, I play a lot of cooperative games and I play a lot of when I talk about for those that don't know, Q is my best friend from high school.
Yep.
We've known each other for at this point over 20 years.
Far too long.
Almost 30 years at this point. And he's the one that got me into role playing games.
Good job.
He was there for a lot of the board gaming.
Yeah.
So he's been a huge part of my life, a great friend. We share a lot of passions, and so he's probably going to come on an episode here in the very near future.
Yeah.
One of the things we did at the cabin, I did a lot of cooking because that's usually what happens at the cabin.
It's at a cabin, right? So you're not like, can I get some Grubhub delivered, and hopefully you're like cooking and gaming. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
there's no DoorDash out there.
No.
We did a lot of like, basically every time we go up to the cabin, what ends up happening, and it works really well, is we go out, we go to the grocery store, we buy all the food we want for the week, and then we play board games. And during the board games, I'm cooking the entire time, and I cook all the food. Q does all the dishes. It's great system.
See, that works out, right? One person cooks, one person cleans.
Yep.
You know.
I felt a little bit bad this trip because I kind of left the dishes to him a little bit more than usual. I don't know what was going on.
So because that's kind of how it works in our house a little bit. Like it's like 55, 45 ish, whatever. Like I do a little bit more of the cooking, and Corey does a little bit less. It does, it even flows out, whatever. But I have a huge bad habit of I have to have my mise en place, and I have to do all the dishes, and I use all the dishes, and I mean I use all the dishes. And Corey walks in, and she's like, "What? Not everything has to be in its own bowl. You read the recipe, you put stuff that goes together in one thing," and he's like, "But that messes with my mise en place. Like I need my ingredients. I must see my delicious food." And I wish I remember what comedian it was, but it's like in every relationship, there's somebody who cooks and somebody who cleans. You know what sucks about that is when you cook, you can do crazy stuff. You can try a new ingredient. You can try a new thing. You know what's crazy to try with dishes? Nothing. It's the same thing every time. So every now and then Corey's like, "So I'm cooking, and you're gonna feel my pain." And I'm like, "But babe, okay, touche. Yeah, that's fine. So are you a mise en placer, as it were, or like
I feel like I find a pretty good balance.
All right.
Yeah, like I definitely use a lot more dishes than like my wife does when she cooks.
Yeah.
She does everything in one pan, and then that's it.
Right.
I do a little bit of prep here and there. I have my bowls that I mix things, but like I'll put. Like we made pico de gallo at the beginning of the trip for the weekend.
Yeah.
And I just put everything in the bowl, and then we just left it in that bowl the entire weekend, which was perfect.
So I am slowly learning to not to mise en place the crap out of cooking. Just try to focus down. You know, that comes from being unemployed back in the day and watching, as opposed to watching soap operas.
I use the same cutting board for all of the vegetables. Not the meats.
Right. No, not
Keep
the meats.
The raw meats separate.
Right. You got to be. You have a little bit of food safety here.
So I made. We did hamburgers one night, which I can't eat beef, so we did. It was chicken burgers.
Okay. Side. I'm going to come back to that in a second. But yeah, chicken burgers.
Did chicken burgers one night with the pico de gallo, a little bit of barbecue sauce.
Ooh, yeah.
Q can't eat breads, so I think he just ate it plain. Whatever.
Yeah.
It was good.
Like protein style. Yeah.
Yeah. We bought lettuce. He could have done like a lettuce wrap, but I think we were both too hungry.
Just get in my belly.
That's usually how it ends up working. We play games until it's like, okay, we really need to start cooking, and then we get really hungry.
We've gone too far. Oh my gosh! All right, so we found this recipe for chicken avocado burgers.
Interesting.
If you like avocado,
I like pina colada and getting caught in the rain.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's a good verse. That's the sequel to the song. If you like avocado. And pico de gallo. So if I can find it, I'll send it to you, whatever.
Sure.
But
I love avocado. I hate cooked avocado, so this is interesting.
So this could be
me.
challenging. You take the ground chicken, but you put the avocado in the chicken. So when you grill it, it maybe a little bit, but it's in there.
Interesting. I'd be willing to try it. I'll try anything.
We tried it ages ago, and it like the kiddo was like, these burgers are amazing, like this is amazing, and then the Corey was like, where the heck has ground chicken been all my life? Because it's a burger, but it's not so heavy or dense, right? Like sometimes you want a burger, just give me some burgers, but this is like, I just want a little burger, just something light and delicious. Now the great thing is you make a little garlic aioli, and we make extra of it because we literally just dip our burgers in it and stuff like
course.
that. But I'll send it to you because frankly, it is. We make it like at least once a month.
Interesting. I'll definitely try it.
It's a nice, delicious burger.
I like chicken burgers a lot.
Yeah.
Turkey burgers are a lot easier to find because obviously there's more meat on a turkey.
Right. And you can find turkey.
You can make a lot more ground turkey a lot faster than you can make a lot of chicken, ground chicken. Ground chicken tastes infinitely better.
Right.
Just so much better.
We tried it with turkey one time and we're like, it's better to wait because for whatever reason the store was out of ground chicken.
Happens a lot.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, let's try turkey. You know, it's chicken adjacent.
They're birds.
They're birds. So we tried it. We're like, I think
it's not the same.
I think we're going to wait for the ground chicken. Sorry, but yes. Again, it's the tangential gaming show.
Yeah, right. We cooked. Again, I can't eat beef, so this is going to be a lot of chicken. Night 2, we did chicken wings. I made my grandmother's from, and my mother are from upstate New York. Buffalo specifically. So we have a recipe in the family that is buffalo chicken wings, and I've kind of made it my own over the years. But it's very simple. It's like 3 ingredients. It's what I do differently is like I use margarine instead of butter. I use it's so much better. I use and instead of doing like a regular wing sauce like Frank's or whatever. I specifically always have to do Red Devil. Red Devil wing sauce is my favorite. It's a little bit more vinegary, which wing sauce is already like real vinegary.
You're right. Wing sauce is definitely vinegar based. Yeah.
And then it's got just the way that they do the peppers and everything. It turns out really good. So that's what I do. And then the rest of the ingredients are just spices. Spoiler alert. I just use a Italian seasoned packet. Call it a day.
Q, if you're listening.
No, he knows. I've made it for him a few times. So I grilled the wings on the grill. They turned out fantastic.
Yeah.
We got drumsticks in addition to wings.
Right.
Because it's easier for the kid to eat.
Right. Well, you know,
they were a little bit too big. Drumettes are a lot better because they're smaller.
So you got like drumsticks.
It was chicken drumsticks, the full size.
The variety is the spice of
life.
life.
The kid liked them a lot, and they were easy to eat and real meaty. But they didn't hold the sauce as well.
Right.
So we made that, and then night 3, I slow cooked chicken breast all day in chicken broth and spices, and we did chicken tacos that night. That was what we made the pico for. Right. We were almost out of pico by that time.
Well, okay, when you're gaming, you gotta have the chips and salsas, right? I mean, if you just dip it in,
correct. The original plan was when we planned the menu in the grocery store.
As you do,
it was going to be the burgers because it was that was easy, and then it was going to be the slow cook the chicken all day for the second day.
Yeah.
But we got through the second day and I was like, I forgot to start the chicken. It's all right. We'll just do the wings tonight.
Yeah.
So we'd made the pico the night before so that way it would soak in all the lime juice and everything. Yeah. And then we get to the second day and we ended up not having what we made the pico for. So so it ended up getting we had enough, but it got close. So it was,
and there's no leftover pico, hopefully, because
I've done chicken tacos almost every time we go up. Because it's super simple, it's super easy, it's always super good. Everyone can kind of put whatever toppings they want. I didn't get as fancy this time as I sometimes do, but that's fine. So we did all that, and then I made breakfast every day, which my kid doesn't like, but that was fine for us. It was just a bunch of scrambled eggs.
I know suddenly we're in a podcast about cooking, which I freaking love. Breakfast is my jam. Right.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if you.
That's my meal.
Before. That is my meal. Like, if like people are, what's your favorite food? It's breakfast.
Yeah.
Like, if
My
I
kid
can,
doesn't like breakfast foods, and my wife doesn't like eating breakfast in the mornings. So I am struggling.
dude, that is rough. I mean, Corey's the same way. Honestly, she's like, I have my coffee. I'm like, I've made eggs Benedict, or I've made a breakfast sandwich. She's like, give me a couple hours. I'm like, what? Now I can eat breakfast anytime.
I've just gone to. We do breakfast for dinner now.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
When I'm wanting breakfast, we do breakfast for dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my wife loves breakfast foods too, so she's okay with that. She just doesn't like eating it during breakfast.
Right. Oh my gosh, the first time I did
the kid doesn't like eggs. The kid doesn't like sausage.
What?
The only thing he likes is bacon.
Okay, all right.
And I can't eat pork bacon anymore, so it's all we can get is turkey bacon, which is not as good.
It's not as good. I mean, it's close.
Not even close. No, it's not even close. Don't do that. Don't give me hope.
Don't tease me, man.
I have had good turkey sauce or good turkey bacon before.
Yeah.
I don't know how or where.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was just pork bacon, and they gave me the wrong one.
Was there turkey written on Sharpie on the packaging? It's turkey bacon.
Right.
I remember the first time I made breakfast for dinner for the kiddo, because as we all know, like if you're the parental unit, sometimes your meal planning it doesn't go as planned, and Corey and I are like, let's just do breakfast for dinner. We got some. Let's use up the bacon. We got eggs with this. And like the kid stood there, watched us. He's like, what are you guys doing? This is what?
You can't do that now.
You cannot do that. You can't cross the streams. You have dinner for dinner and you have breakfast. And it's like, shh, Cal, food is food, right? Eat it, eat it when you want to eat it. You can have sandwiches for dinner. You have sandwich lunch. And he just watched us and he's like, this is so awesome.
Oh, okay. I thought he was going to say this is sacrilege.
No. He just was like,
this is
bacon and eggs with some whatever. He's like, yes. And then we made another, like a couple. The next week we made what I call breakfast for dinner as well. It's like.
So do you cook how do you do your eggs?
Well,
do you do scrambled?
I'm a fan of scrambled because it is the easier way to do it.
I like scrambled because I like the taste more.
Yeah. I mean, I do a bunch. There's butter makes everything better, so there's definitely some butter in there.
Absolutely.
And scramble the eggs. And then the other way.
So when you scramble eggs, do you do it American style, French style? How do you do your
Guatemalan style? I have no idea. All right, no.
So do you just like scramble the eggs in a bowl, pour it in the bowl, and then just scrape the pan while it cooks?
A little bit. So so you whisk or whip the eggs in the bowl, add a little milk or whatever, a little creme. Sometimes, like if you're feeling spicy, I put like a little sour cream or something like that.
Sure.
Just a little tang. So all the ingredients are in the bowl, the salt, peppers, whatever spices, and whip that together. Not too much. Just, together.
So you season it in the bowl?
Right. And then put it in the pan and let it sit for a little bit. And then just slowly start
mixing it.
And then sometimes I make that. I guess it's the French style. I call it the egg burrito, where you let it and you fold it over. And you have like
more like an omelet.
Yeah, more like an omelet style.
I did a folded egg at the cabin. We did the first night. I wanted to do breakfast sandwiches, and again, Josh can't eat Q can't eat the English muffins, so he just had it, in a bowl. But I did folded egg, turkey sausage pressed, and then I grilled in the griddle. Some English muffins for the kid and I, and hit the kid's sandwich left uneaten, like half eaten.
What?
Yeah, it was a travesty. And then he like smothered it in ketchup.
Yeah,
because he's a kid, and when he goes to the cabin, I kind of let him do whatever he wants to an extent.
Well, yeah. Like, dude, there's like little free range action,
especially on this trip where it's like, hey, Uncle Q and I are going to be like. Completely ignoring you for most of the time. So
don't die.
If you want extra ketchup, have extra ketchup.
Yeah.
But then it was like there's this half-eaten delicious sandwich sitting there, and it's like I wanted to eat it later as a snack, and it was just covered in ketchup, so I couldn't. But I did do a folded egg, and the folded eggs turned out great. I was really happy with how that turned
That
out.
sounds delicious. I did not eat much breakfast this morning. And
No,
I'm
the
like,
French style is how I usually do it. So,
yeah.
I don't do creme or milk, but that's the appropriate thing to do. But you get a pot, not a pan, and you melt way too much butter.
Yes.
In the pan.
Way too much butter.
Or in the pot, and then mix the eggs in, and then just stir and don't stop stirring on a low heat, like medium low, like 4. Don't stop stirring. Let it keep going, and then periodically take it off the heat, let it rest, and it'll cook on its own.
Yeah, we'll
and then put it back
there.
on the heat to reheat a little bit. And you do that over and over. I don't do the taking it off the heat much anymore.
Okay.
I'll usually do it a little bit more lazy, but as long as you're constantly stirring it, what you end up getting is that more cottage cheese consistency.
Yes. Yeah. Really small curds, basically. Yeah.
Correct. And that turns out, and
you're not
I don't season it until toward the end.
Okay. I'm going to still put a little dash at the end. Maybe not, obviously. So you're not using a skillet or like that. You're using more of a like a tall-sided saucepan. Or something?
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Try it sometime.
I will. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mix it, pour it, stir it with like a silicone spatula constantly until it's about done.
I mean, and we've been like trying to get Kyle, because again, I'm a breakfast fan. Like, and if there's one or two things that I want to pass on to the child is, you might not be able to like change the oil in your car or whatever, but by darn it, you're going to know how to make at least one or two things so that when you go to college or whatever, you can make a couple things and you will not have to buy.
Yeah, you're not just living off of
takeout and
college
pizza.
kid nachos.
Right. Like, go make some food, because that was my thing.
Bean burritos.
I had, like, I can make breakfasts, obviously, but it's like 2 dishes. Like, that's. And when you're a poor college student and, frankly, a starving artist back in the day, there's a lot of ramen with an egg in it. Not gonna lie, and whatever leftover veggies that are about to go bad, you just put them in the ramen and eat that up. But I'm like, so you're gonna learn how to make eggs, like scramble some eggs and fry some eggs, and that's it. He's like, Dad, this is fun.
It's easy, it's fun, and it's always so rewarding.
Right. And you'll almost always have some eggs on hand to do stuff with. So that's the other version we make. We made fried eggs.
Yeah, I do fried eggs for the wife and the kid every now and then.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do a fried egg for myself when I'm doing a breakfast sandwich and I want the fried egg. But for the most part, I'll do scrambled.
Yeah.
Most
Scrambled's
of the time.
easier to control. It doesn't make much of a mess. But I do love if you can, like, we try to get like what I call not hard boiled, a soft boiled. Like, so the yolk is just barely cooked, because like, obviously you want the whites to be, that's the grossest thing ever, where you're like eating an egg and you're like, what is this? Oh, it's an uncooked egg white. Great. Yuck. But if the whites are done and the yolk is just barely touched, so it's not full on magma hot running out of your sandwich, but it's just a little unctuousness, a little sauce that you can, as my kid, like dip it in his plate full of ketchup, because he does the same thing, kids. So that's our thing.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do with the breakfast sandwich is like you get the fried egg, the yolk's super runny.
Yes.
You bite into it, it squirts out the back. And then when you get toward halfway done with the sandwich, you're just scraping the plate with your sandwich.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. What do you again?
So that's our board gaming / cooking trip.
All right, guys, welcome to the cooking podcast. Does it work?
The other thing we did at the cabin is talked a lot about role-playing games.
Okay.
Specifically, after last episode, I got a gang together. So we've got about 5 people that are you, me, Q, and a couple other people
We're the
that
Jets.
are looking at starting a role-playing game.
Yes.
So, to that end, Q's very excited because he loves role-playing games.
Good.
And it was all he could talk about all weekend for 4 days.
Just bouncing off ideas, like what's the world we're going to do now? Because you reached out with some ideas for
a little bit of the world ideas and a lot of his ideas for different characters.
Great.
what I wanted, we can get into the main topic. I think we've waxed long enough about
Have we waxed political
gaming
enough?
things.
Yes. As you're rolling to the main topic.
So the main topic is I wanted to talk a little bit just generally about role-playing games. We started talking about Daggerheart last episode before the timing ran out.
Technical difficulties.
Do you have enough storage space on the USB drive before we get started?
I wiped this clean, so we have approximately 12 hours. Paul,
Okay.
so we can record all day.
Well, it's a good thing we're not opening the shop today.
No.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about. So we're going to play Daggerheart.
Daggerheart, right?
I'm super excited about Daggerheart. Q's super excited about Daggerheart. I hope
great.
everybody else is, or I hope they have a good time at the very least.
You will be.
I wanted to talk a little bit, just kind of talk with you about what you wanted from the game. Talk a little bit about like my approach to starting a new campaign.
Yeah.
I know a big thing a lot of people come up with is, hey, I want to try Dungeons and Dragons. I want to play a role-playing game. What do I need to get started? How do I find a group?
Right.
Kind of address some. We've talked a little bit about some of the stuff.
We did talk a little bit about that in our role-playing thing, but I think revisiting that, since we're actually going through it right now,
I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
And then what we'll end up doing is after we have, every few episodes or a few sessions or so, maybe have Q or one of the other players come in and we talk about that game.
Yeah.
So Daggerheart. So we started to talk about it. I forget where we got cut off, but
I think if I remember right, we got cut off right around when we were talking about it is it's a 12-sided.
It's a 12-sided die. So I have with me some dice here. That came with the collector's edition of the game that I got.
For those listening at home, Paul, of course, being the awesome sauce dude that he is, listen to that, has the collector's edition of the Daggerheart. And I just want to say, I don't know about you guys, but when the new player's handbook came out, like I haven't role played in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Like this has been, I want to say 96, 90, like around. So it's been.
You've DM'd since then, though.
No. I haven't done anything.
Any of it? Okay.
Anything. So like when the new player's handbook came out, like I picked it up and I was like.
And when you're saying new player's handbook, you're talking about 3.5?
Yes, I'm talking about 3.5 when it came out. No! What is this, 5.5 or whatever?
Oh, 5th edition?
Yeah, the 5th edition. The new one that Mike's got up over there. Yeah.
524.
Yeah, because they're using years now, which is probably more appropriate.
2024 edition of 5th edition.
It's like Hello Darkness, my old friend kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you stare at it, and I opened it up, and I did exactly the same thing when Paul pulled out the book. Like I picked it up, and you did the whole like you
gotta smell that ink.
You smell the ink and the paper.
While it's still fresh.
Oh, gosh. And it definitely always takes me back to the halcyon days of youth. And you're like, I remember back in the day when everybody had one player's handbook and we all had to share it around the table. And you slowly saved up your money to buy an extra player's handbook.
You played with people that bought their own books?
Well, it was... I was lucky enough that I had.
I was always the guy that bought the books, and everyone took mine.
Well, no. So there was my stuff.
Yeah.
And then eventually, because I played with the halcyon days when I was playing was back in high school when I moved to California.
Right.
My Christmas of junior year, so it was about a year and a half, 2 years. I want to say really shockingly quick. Found a group of friends and hung out, and we were all like, "Hey, we like gaming." And so I had the books already, and they're like, this is fun.
Yeah.
So slowly as we played, everybody got their own player's handbook.
Everybody ends up getting their own player's book.
But because you're like,
point.
I want to look at my own stuff and read stuff, so as opposed to sharing the communal library. But yes, I was the one I had all the Forgotten Realms books. I had all the maps. I had them on the wall in there, and it was so, like...
One guy has all the books. Right. Everybody should have their own players.
And eventually gets it out. So I love the fact that you rolled in with this sweet, gilded, no, not gilded edge, but the sweet cover of Daggerheart.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just love again, holding the book takes me back. And I'm like,
So while the shop won't have the collector's edition, I don't want to spend too much time on the fancy version.
But it's the book
that we won't be able to get a hold of. I do want to talk about the game.
Yes.
So one of the cool things that I love about Daggerheart is a card, has a lot of cards associated with it.
Okay.
Which I think we talked about a little bit in the Forgotten Lost episode.
Yes.
But cards are a core component of the game.
Okay.
$60, I think, is the price. Maybe. Yeah, I think I'm 90% certain. Don't hold me to this.
Oh, I'll hold you that.
But for the price of what you would normally spend for like a player's handbook, you get the player's handbook, which also has a bunch of DM stuff in it.
Right.
There's not a DMG. There's not a monster manual.
So this
yet.
is like the book.
That's
as it were.
the book.
So there's one source book for the game,
and
plus
you get all the
cards.
cards
Okay.
with it for the one price, which is
Okay.
super rad.
That is cool.
So in Daggerheart, the core of the system is you're going to roll 2 d12.
Paul leans over and grabs some
And
dice.
you choose one to be your hope die and one to be your fear die before you roll. And you want them to be different colors so you can tell
So
which
you know,
one's which.
so you can't cheat like back
Look
in the
at these-
day.
I don't want to spend too much time on this. But
Hold on.
look at these 12-sided dice.
He's passing me some dice.
They're the weirdest printed 12-sideds or weirdest cut 12-sides I've ever seen. Because here's a normal 12-sided.
Yeah, hand me the regular one. But these are specific ones. 'cause
They're like
there's a regular
4-sided
12.
instead of 5-sided.
Yeah. Admittedly, when you picked them up, I was like, why is he going for the 20-sided? Because they're closer to that kind of cut as opposed to the 12-sided.
Yeah, it's super weird.
That is weird. But the dice are super cool. They have purple with some gold flecks in them, and the other one is like a white with some cool iridescent inside. Like, I love me some accoutrements, and these dice
Yeah, they're really nice dice.
These dice are pretty sexy.
So,
I'm going to drop it.
that's fine. They're dice. They're supposed to be thrown.
Just huck it across the room.
So you choose the 2 dice, you roll, and then whichever die is higher determines whether or not your roll has hope or fear associated with it. So
Okay.
if you roll higher on the hope die, you rolled with hope. If you roll higher on the fear die, you rolled with fear. I'll get into that in a second.
Right.
Then you add the 2 numbers together, and let's say you rolled a 11, right? You rolled a 5 and a 6, and the 6 was the higher of, say, hope.
Right.
You rolled an 11 with hope, and then you compare that to the DC to use Dungeons and Dragons terms.
And that's difficulty?
Difficulty check.
Yeah. All right, good. I haven't forgotten everything.
Yep. And if you rolled high at or higher, then you succeeded.
Right,
So
right,
if you
right.
succeed with hope, that means you did the thing and you did the thing spectacularly well. You get to, as a player, you're called to describe how that was spectacular for you.
Okay.
You get to gain hope, which is a currency that powers your abilities. And that kind of thing. If you roll, let's say you succeeded, but your fear die was higher, then you
Right.
succeeded with fear. You still succeeded at whatever task you were doing. If that task was hitting the monster, you succeeded. If it was
Right.
climbing over the wall, you succeeded. You got over the wall. You hit
Right,
the
right.
monster. But because there's fear,
right?
then the DM gains a fear point, which is their currency to do some of their bad stuff and
Okay.
power some of their abilities.
Yeah.
And they get to do a move.
Like machinations, the world moves and shifts
Right.
as the character. Oh, okay.
So to use those examples, if you succeed with fear on hitting the monster, you hit the monster, but you look down and its dagger has kind of found its way into your side.
Right.
In the attack, and
Your
so you
weapon
take a little bit of damage.
Your weapon's stuck in it or something like that, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
You hit it, and then it knocks your dagger away or whatever.
Right.
Something to that effect. If you're climbing over the wall, you get over the wall and you drop, and as you drop down, you realize you just dropped into a band of 5 guards. So stuff
Yeah,
like that,
okay.
right? And it's totally up to the DM to kind of, or GM in this game,
Right.
to kind of determine what that all means and how that all works.
So it sounds like, and I think we did briefly mention this. There's the other system, Genesis or
Yeah.
Star Wars, where you have success and failures, but you have a mix of a heavy maybe heavy's not the great way to say it, but a good dose of storytelling behind the die roll.
The dice will help propel the story forward in dramatic ways.
Right. That allows you, the GM or the player, to be like, you have succeeded with hope or with a bonus or whatever. So how do you succeed?
Yeah.
How are you gonna? What's your little je ne sais quoi that you want your character to do?
Right.
And then if you succeed with fear, the DM can have a little fun.
I will say, like, and this was definitely something I talked about during the Lost episode, but I'm going to say that a lot. I think Daggerheart is a so far, based on what I've seen from, again, I've only played the beta test.
Yep.
I haven't played the final product yet. Daggerheart is a system that is going to be really good for new players.
Okay.
People that haven't played a system before, or their only system that they have experience with is Dungeons and Dragons, and they want to explore a more narrative system.
Yeah.
Players are going to be great in this. It's very welcoming. The character sheets are really well written. It does a really good job. I didn't give you any character sheets. I can grab one if you want. It's really well designed from a player standpoint. From a GM standpoint, though, as a GM, I'm super excited. I want to preface, like, this game is made for me. It's going to be a lot harder for a new GM to run than, say, Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
It puts a lot more weight on improvisation and thinking on your feet and being creative in the moment, which is something that's how I run my games.
Yeah.
That's how I run D&D.
Right.
That's how I run any RPG, and that's the way my RPG brain is built.
Great.
So I love that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, when we were playing, since I was usually, not usually, I was the GM.
Right.
Like, just for, like, I had experience nobody else had, so I was like, well, GM. That's also kind of how I ran the games too. Is like I had a rough outline and an idea, and frankly, sometimes not even that. Like, hey, we're just gonna get together and have fun.
Yeah.
And like, all right, guys, where did we leave off last time? And hopefully the players remember what happened, and I'd be like, were you guys paying attention? Maybe, because I honestly maybe forgot too. And if we got it wrong, and I totally did. And if I got it wrong, it was fine. We didn't really care. But it's that improvisational. I want these guys to have fun in this adventure, in this world. I have an idea of what the next bad guy is. Like, what's the next thing that they're going to unlock to propel their
But you might not necessarily
story.
know how you get there.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly how I run games too.
Now, it's been like I said, it's been a hot minute. So my improv skills are real bad.
That's fine.
But I do remember back in the day, like, they're like, how do you do this? And I'm like, well, you guys, it's that yes and thing of improv. It's like, I'm going to give you guys a question. Like, how do you get through the door? How do you do this? What are you going to do? And your actions give me ideas. How am I going to bounce off? Because I always had one player that would always sneak away.
Right.
Always. Like, without a freaking doubt. We're like, hey, we're in this room and it's well lit. And he's like, I'm going to sneak into the shadows. I'm like, did you not hear me say it's well lit? I'm still going to sneak in. Dude, all right, roll for it, bro. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And then something stupid would happen and he'd get, he'll get separated from the group. And I'd be like, all right, hang out. We'll get back to you. And depends on how many, but usually like the 3 or 4 other guys would just be rolling their eyes and be like, dude, can you not just stick with the group?
Yeah.
Or he would actually take one of them with him. Like, he activated a trap because you're doing something you didn't. Yeah, you failed your roll and this and that, and you did it, and like the floor drops down, and 2 of you get sucked down, and they're like, everybody would turn and be like, what's wrong with you, bro?
Yeah.
But he played his character very well. He was a thief, a sneaky, a dwarf thief, if I remember right.
He was living his fantasy.
He was living his fantasy and having fun. But that idea of the improvisational nature of stuff of this game, I haven't played 4th or 5th or 525. Obviously, does if like how in the realm of like improvisational versus rote things, where does D&D stand now? Do you know, versus Daggerheart or something like that? Has it changed much, or is it still like a rules heavy?
It's changed a lot in the two systems you haven't played.
Yes, I'm sure it has.
So
in the 40 years.
So to my point, I play a lot of improvisation, and I tend to like games that encourage improvisation give or give the GM a lot of tools for improvisation.
Right.
Narrative systems are great for that. If you're the type of GM that's playing D&D and you like to have a lot of prep work done, and you like to have a set plan going into a session, and you know what encounter is going to be what, and when it's going to happen and how, and your games are very railroady. That I hesitate to use the term railroad because that has a lot of negative connotation. I don't think railroading is bad.
Like you're running a module. Like there are steps and things that someone might wants to do.
I think railroading in a game is sometimes appropriate, and I think that if your game, if your group is, if that's the type of game your group likes, then run that type of game. I don't think that's a problem for the right table. I think most tables want a little bit more freedom.
Right.
So that's why it gets a bad rap. And I'm not saying, hey, just go write your novels and then make people sit through them. Right. I'm not telling everyone to go do that, but I am saying like a little bit of structure here and there isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
When it's done right. That you learn with time and you learn with practice and so forth. 4th edition D&D very much thrived in a very rigid design structure. That's why I didn't like GMing in 4th edition.
Okay.
4th edition was great as a player.
Yeah.
If somebody said I want to run a 4th edition game, and it was
sign me up.
It was a GM that I knew had a lot of experience with the system, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. I want to play in that system again because that system was so much fun. Everyone that hates on 4th edition, I know why, and I don't disagree with you, but I think peel back the hatred a little bit and look at 4th edition from a wider standpoint, and you'll hopefully realize that 4th edition was a really well-designed system, and it was really good for what it did and what it was trying to do. It succeeded at very well. That being said, I fully acknowledge that it's not for everybody.
Right. Okay.
5th edition definitely took a step back. It's a lot closer to 3.5 than 3rd edition in terms of its organizational structure, but it also gave a lot more improvisational tools. It encouraged a lot more modern gaming strategies. And to that end, that's why 5th edition, in my opinion, is the best and most well-designed version of Dungeons and Dragons. And I think that's why D&D is doing so well. It's going through a renaissance partially because of the popularity from groups like Critical Role, bringing it to the forefront, making it an entertainment tool, bringing people in. Then COVID happened, and that encouraged people to play online with each other and try out D&D. I think D&D 5th edition is an incredibly good system, incredibly well-designed system that's very approachable for a lot of different types of players.
Okay, great.
It's just not for me.
Your mileage may vary, as it were, right?
I've played a lot of D&D 5th edition. I don't hate it, but I struggle with it. It's a little bit too rigid. There's a little bit too much. There's not enough. Players aren't given enough agency from the rules of the system, which puts a lot of onus on the GM to recognize when the player should have agency.
Okay.
And so as a player, partially because of that, but also partially because as a player, I've been GMing for so long at this point, 15 years.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome.
That I struggle from a player standpoint because I want to have that improvisation. I want to be thinking 18 steps ahead and like doing all the wild. And as a player, I struggle with that. And then as a GM playing D&D, when I ran the campaign, we talked about the Dragon Apocalypse.
Yep.
Running the game I did as much as I could to facilitate the style of game I wanted, and there were some things that turned out super good. One of the things that I did, I borrowed heavily from 4th edition specifically, was the concept of skill challenges, which in 4th edition skill challenge was a rule set that said players can use skills to overcome a challenge. They have to get X number of successes before X number of failures. Here's what happens if they get the failures first. Here's what if they succeed. Then here's what they move on to the next part. Or here's what happens. Here's the reward.
Right.
So it created an encounter, but instead of combat, you're doing skills.
Okay.
And so I did a lot of that, and it created some really cool narrative things. One of the things that happened in the game was the last standing city that in the world, Bastion we called it, is run by a church, heavily inspired by the Catholic Roman Catholic Church. The church is running the city. They're calling the shots. It's kind of militant in how the city's run, but it's the last city. Like a lot of people are okay with it because, hey,
it's the only one you got.
If this place falls, we're gone, right? It created a lot of fun experiences where people are like, cool, you're stuck in customs for an entire day. Those types of things. It created for some good laughs. At any rate, the adventuring party is out. They've left the city for like a month. They've been out traveling and running their quests and trying to find relics that are going to help them to defeat the big bad dragon that's leading the dragon army. And they're like, okay, we need to go back to the city. I was like, okay, this is perfect. This is a perfect time for you guys to go back to the city. You guys should go back to the city.
Yes, you should.
So they come back to the city, and I'm like, cool. So you guys are approaching the city, and there is more action, more fighting. You hear noise off in the distance. There's smoke rising. It's clear that you've seen the city under attack many times, but nothing like this. There is so much more happening. It's so much louder. You crest the hill and you see hundreds, thousands of people. You didn't know the army was this large of people fighting. Where did all these people come from? They're fighting the dragon forces, the kobolds, thousands of kobolds, giant dragons. An entire battle is waging of a size you've never seen before. We start doing the skill challenge, and through the skill challenge, what I do is I say, hey, describe what your character is going to do and what skill you want to use. And then the DC is always the same, DC 15, DC 17, whatever it is for that challenge that's appropriate for their level.
Yep.
Here's the DC. You guys need to get five successes before you get 5 failures. If you get 5 successes, you get through the battle unharmed, and you get to the gates of the city where you can get in. If you get 5 failures, what's going to happen is you're going to have to fight one of these ancient dragons that are probably going to kill you.
Yeah. I mean, probably.
Yeah. You're level 11. These things are CR 18.
Right.
Like, this is not going to be a good. You might win. It's not going to be an easy fight. So I set the stakes ahead of time. They know what's at risk. They know exactly how many successes they need. I tell them what the DC is. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to pull anything over on them. But I give them that, and I say the only rule is you can't use the same skill that you used last time or that the person just before you went. So if you use athletics, you can't use athletics for your next skill check. If the last person used stealth, you can't use athletics or stealth, right?
So once somebody uses a skill, it kind of removes it from the skill pool they can draw from as they go around, right?
I don't lock it down too much because I want. It's also D&D, and people just put all their skill points into like 3 skills.
Yes.
But I do want.
Hobo,
I'm trying to encourage them to think outside of the box a little bit, be a little bit more creative, and then I give them a lot of agency. Right. So I'll say, you guys are approaching the battle. This is what you see in front of you. Who wants to go first? And go in whatever order. There's no initiative. You just can't go until everybody else has gone. You can't go again. So that way it's not one person going back to back to back. but go in any order. Whenever inspiration strikes you from a narrative perspective, tell me what you do. And so they might say, okay, I'm going to use my athletics. I see a crumbling wall. Sorry, I need to take a step back. They get to the battle. You approach the battle. Dragons are fighting. Huge army. Where did this army come from? Turns out the entire army is undead. The church has been hoarding corpses from all of the lost battles, all the lost fights, for the last couple years.
Right.
And they've now emptied the warrens. They've reanimated all of these fallen soldiers over the last couple years. Skeletons, zombies. Some people are missing arms, legs.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The army for the city is an undead army.
Is now an undead army.
Okay, that doesn't cause any problems.
They're trying. They have been. This war has been going on for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
This is. They feel like the church feels like this is a great way for them to overcome it. So, peel back the curtain a little bit from a GM perspective. This was always the plan. I wanted to have the option for the party that if they wanted to explore the church side of things a little bit more,
right,
that they would find that the church is corrupted and being influenced by demonic forces, and that
never happens,
and that the church, which once had good intentions, is now falling because of these influences, and it's now doing things that are straight up evil. It has the undead army, and it, in fairness, very much like modern Marvel movies, like Endgame and such.
Yeah,
they see an end goal, and their goal is good. It's something that we can get behind. We want to bring an end to the war. We want to stop the dragon horde.
right.
We want to bring an end to this 1,000-year struggle. How do we do that? We need an army. Where do we get the army? Well, we've got all these extra bodies laying around.
Right.
So
waste not, want not, people.
So that's what I described to the players, and so they describe all these things, and I'm like, and so then they roll, and then based on if they get a success or a failure, I, as the GM, would then take what they gave me, what they were trying to do, run across barricades, try and stealth through a ditch that they see and hide. Try and I also tell them you can use spells and things instead of skill checks. It does count toward your spell slots for the encounter, and your spell attack roll has the same DC, etc. So I do give them a little bit of flexibility on that, to try and help encourage more creativity and give the casters a little bit more flexible and hopefully create a more dynamic story.
Yeah.
So it allowed me to describe these things where dragons are swooping down over the party, and ice breath is spraying down on all of the undead around them, and everything gets crystallized, cobalt undead, and you're running through this icy sheet and you barely dodge it. And it creates this really exciting thing. And so you can do all that stuff with D&D, but you need a little bit of help. You need a little bit of creativity. Sometimes you need to borrow rules from other game systems or older editions of D&D to get the more narrative focus that I like. Daggerheart puts it all up front. You're rolling it on the dice. The dice give you the success or failure with a little bit of dual an additional axis of success or failure.
Okay.
And then on top of all of that, there's no skills in Daggerheart, which is one of my favorite things. You don't have athletics. You don't have stealth.
So there's not necessarily like a list of skills to skill check against stuff that the DM can use as a rule to be like, to open this door, you use your pick lock, you're climbing, you're this skill. You go, I want to try to do this. And then you would think of
you base it off of the attribute, like strength, constitution.
Right.
In this game, they use a few different ones. They name them a little bit differently, but there's definitely
don't mess
the
with
same.
Me, man.
the same analogs.
I need my strength, my dexterity, my constitution. I was gonna
right.
Look in the back
Sorry,
here.
if you hear flipping, it's because oh my goodness, I need to reprint these.
We're shuffling pages.
I'm going through the. I'm trying to find the generic character sheets here, which I did print a couple of. But if I can't find them, here it is. All right, so here's the generic character sheet. So at the top of the sheet, there's the different abilities that you have: agility, strength, finesse, instinct, presence, and knowledge. And then underneath those, it gives you examples of when you might use those different effects. So you say, I want to try and sneak past the guards, right?
Right. Well,
then you would say, okay, and if you don't know what you want to use, then I might say, okay, you're going to roll me a finesse check.
Right.
Okay. And the finesse check is going to be either plus anywhere from a -1 to a +2.
Right.
Yes.
And that's when you would roll the 2 12-sided dice.
Yep. And then you'd add your +2 to it and see what you got.
All right.
So because there's no skill checks, you're like, well, how do I get better at things? Well, on the lower part of the sheet on the left side, there's a box labeled experience. Experience are the experiences your character has either before the game starts or during. And at character creation, you choose 2 experiences.
Right. Like, why are you doing this? Like, what has driven you to become this person that wants to go on an adventure kind of thing? Yeah.
Right.
Like,
or
whatever. Yeah.
You might say, professional chef is one of my experiences. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means I'm good with knives. I'm focused under pressure. It has a broad use to it.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, because my experience as professional chef, anytime you make a check that you're making a check that you think your experience would apply, you can spend a hope. So remember, hope is one of the currencies.
Okay.
You can spend a hope, and then you can add the bonus from that experience to it. A +2 is at the character creation. So if you're trying to cut up meat,
right,
you can have a +2 on it, right? If you spend a hope, and so you have these broad term things, and it might be something like as you level up, you'll gain experience. You can write down new experiences. You want them to hopefully tie into what you've learned since your last level.
Right.
It can be incredibly broad. It could be something like what's I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry. Like dedicated friend, right? Like something like that, where if you're trying to protect someone, or if you're trying to stand up for someone, right? You can apply that to different things. It could be a phrase,
right?
Like what's somebody's catchphrase?
I'll be back.
Okay, that's a bad one. But you get what I mean. It's very, very flexible. It doesn't have to necessarily be a specific thing. It doesn't have to be the best experiences are the ones that can be applied to a broad range, like natural gambler, or I'm trying to think of a phrase and I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Anyways, so you pick the experiences, and then that's how you get your extra skill bonuses. And sometimes as a GM, I might reward the entire party with an experience. Survived the Great Dragon, right?
Right.
In which case, now you have that experience to you, and if you think that it applies, and I agree as the GM, then you can spend a hope and add the dice to it.
Okay.
So it's really cool in that it encourages the players to think a bit more creatively. It encourages a bit more role play, and it gets rid of that skill system that a lot of people have always complained about across all games.
Right.
D&D 5th Edition is pretty good about it because the skill system's a lot more refined. It's a little bit more broad. Whereas like 3.5, there was 60 skills.
Oh, I definitely remember running down that list and being like, so if you didn't pick tightrope walking as opposed to just balance, you're like, sorry, you can't. But it's Right. So it definitely was
Right.
like, how many skills do we need to list in the book? How many things do we need to, does a character or a player need to worry about? And then the DM has to be
How
like,
granular do you need to
right,
be?
which skill is this specific? You know, just I would almost, a lot of times, if I remember right, I would just do like their dexterity, strength, stuff like that. I'm like, every now and then it was a specific thing that their character had done before and built up on stuff, and several times. Like, all right, what's your skill in that? Because we would work on rewarding a point or two in that.
Right.
But I was like, just roll a strength check, dude. It's like, let's keep it simple.
And I would oftentimes like encourage players to say, okay, what do you think is going to be the best skill for this situation? And they might say, well, I think presence. My presence is going to help me get past this stone trap. Well, no, that's not going to work.
Hold on. Right. Well, I mean,
but
you could try to charm the pants off of it, but it's not going to care.
yeah, right. But no, I still, if they can come up with a good logical explanation, I'll say, go for it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give them a little bit. So this gives them a lot more control, but it's gated behind a resource that you have to earn throughout play. And without that resource, then you won't be able to abuse it, right? You can't just apply the +2 to every single die roll.
Right.
You can't say good at everything, right, as one of your experiences, and then just say, well, I'm good at everything, so I get a +2. Well, okay, spend a hope. Oh, I'm out of hope. Okay, sounds like you're not good at everything.
Hopeless.
Sounds like you're not good
really,
at role-playing.
I think this is really neat. I do like the names: agility, strength, finesse, instinct, presence, knowledge. So it's like adjacent to D&D. It's not totally creating something new. You can kind of get the references.
They got rid of Constitution, which, I mean, it kind of is rolled into strength. Constitution in D&D was the least used skill.
Right.
It was just there to pad your HP, and they just handle all that separately.
Right.
I still like having Constitution be a characteristic of your character. How durable are you?
Right.
But I can see why they would get rid of it here, and it's fine.
Because a lot of times I use it not just for physical, but like mental. Like, how, like, are you able to withstand?
Technically, wisdom should.
Well, yes,
fall under
I
that.
know sometimes, but if you're being if you're being tortured by the bad guy. If you're being James Bonded into something, I expect you to die. And
you're resisting physical torture.
Exactly. And sometimes the mental strain.
Braving the elements.
Right.
Yep.
So this is kind of neat. And I do like the fact that have under agility, they list sprint, leap, maneuver, and of course, these aren't obviously end all be all, but these are launching points for the player to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to try to sneak around this corner. And if I can pickpocket this guy and get back. Okay, so I need to try to hide and then maybe, or is it navigate? Or is it so you have options. Yeah. And not only as a player, but obviously hopefully as a DM to be like, okay, it's going to be both a finesse check or whatever and a, maybe agility check, like something like that. So you can
more likely what I would do to shortcut things is I would say, okay, cool. So you're trying to navigate through your way through the streets under the cover of darkness. And to get to your point, you can roll either a finesse or instinct check, your choice.
Right.
Just pick whichever one you want. Yeah. And you tell me what you get.
Great.
They split up dexterity across agility and finesse. Which I think is good. I think that the difference between fine hand control and kind of awareness is better than it is different than your ability to parkour.
Right. No, I like that. Absolutely. I mean, and then instinct, presence, like knowledge, obviously to me, I lean toward the wisdom style. But instinct and presence is both a combination of wisdom and intelligence. And maybe
instinct is more wisdom.
Yeah.
Knowledge is intelligence, and presence would be the charisma analog.
Yeah. That's great. I think those are cool.
But I would be, again, as a GM, if as a player, if you're like, I really want to use my presence for this, and you're describing what you want to do is okay. What you're describing to me is something that's more instinct related,
Right.
but maybe you do this, right? Maybe you give him a wink as you're
Right.
doing this, right? To try and get them on your side. You're using you're really focused on your body language in this moment. Then yeah, let's do presence, right?
Great.
And I'll give you that suggestion and see if you want to roll with it, which you probably would at that point, given what we just described.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
So yeah, that's kind of how and then as opposed to doing in D&D very infamously has the different scores of 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20.
Right. Roll character creation. You roll
Yep.
your 6-sided dice.
And every even number you get your bonus is increased by 1.
Yeah.
This game gets away with all that. You just, at character creation, you're just basically picking one of your attributes to be a +2. You're picking one of them to be a -1.
Okay.
And then two of them are going to be zeros, and the rest are going to be +1s,
Okay.
right? Or it's 2 zeros, 2 +1s, 2 zeros, 2 +1s. I
So you always have one that's you're really good at,
yeah,
one that you're not so good at, and then a couple that you're just above average at,
That's
which is
right.
good because again, the idea of you being I equate it to like you being the hero of the story. Like there's a reason. What is the reason that you're good at this? That you're feeling like you need to go out and experience this adventure or whatever. That's great.
I think that's incredibly important. I think it's crucial for any player character to have a motivation as to why their character not only would be adventuring, but also working with the party, working with others to achieve their goals. Because yes, you are the main character of your story, but so is everybody else, and we're sharing this story with each other.
Right.
So
I mean, it's again like why was the Fellowship created? To make that analogy, like all these disparate characters have realized that they have the same goal. Now, obviously, maybe not all at once around a table, and someone tells you, the Fellowship has been created. Go forth and adventure. So as you go through and meet stuff, and which is one of the fun things when we had a smaller group was like we could talk about how did you guys meet? Like, were you friends of friends, or did you come through this town on a thing and you stayed a little too long and you actually like started cooking at the tavern or whatever, And they're like, well, this is kind of okay. So what? And of course, every now and then you just like, well, you're just a bunch of murder hobos, as I like, as the infamous phrase is used. You just showed up and you just realized, hey, you like killing people? I like killing people. Let's go.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit. Hugh and I talked a lot. We started a text thread, and we were talking a little bit about world building. So we talked a lot about world building, and one of the things that we talked about was when I was first getting into DMing in 3.5, I had built a homebrew world where it was I wanted to do pirates. That sounded super fun to me.
Pirates are almost always fun. Yes,
I thought so.
Yeah. Pirates and ninjas, kind of.
So I built this like Caribbean-inspired world. The entire world is ocean. There's 6 large islands that make up the majority of this space, and then a bunch of smaller islands in between for adventures to happen.
Oh yeah.
Each island was inspired by an element. So you had the island of Earth, which is just a bunch of mountains. It's where the dwarves come from. It's just these huge mountains jutting up into the sky, right?
Okay.
And you've got to climb up the cliffs to get into the mountains, and then go through tunnels. That's the Earth island.
Great.
The fire island is
Volcanic
island. It's a bunch of volcano. There's constantly lava pouring into the ocean.
Nice. It's Hawaii. No, I'm kidding.
It's Hawaii. That's where the orcs live.
Okay.
At the time, maybe this all changes now, but the original plan was that's where all the orcs are from, and dragons and things like that. And then there was the air island, which is a an island that's floating just out of the water.
Ooh.
And
okay.
so it's above the water, and there's these like vines that are like hanging down into the water that you can climb up to get to it. And the elves live there. And then there was the water island, which isn't an island at all. It's actually a city.
It's an isthmus.
It's a place beneath the ocean.
Okay.
Where it's an underwater,
like an underwater culture.
And then there's this bubble,
of
air that protects the people living in that city down there.
Yeah.
Or maybe a series of pockets. I don't know. I'd have to reapproach it, but that was the idea. Is like where that island would be. There's nothing because it's all under the water.
Right.
And I had water elves coming from that area.
Okay.
And then it was like high elves were in the air island, and then water elves in the water underwater, and then so earth, fire, wind, water. Yeah, and then the island of life was in the center of the 5 islands. There's a 6th. I know I'm missing it. The island of life is this like lush jungle island, and that's where most of the people live. It's where all of the different humans, halflings.
So would that be maybe the biggest island of the group, where most of the people live, the most verdant, has the most goes from like a lush jungle to maybe some hillside to plains, whatever. So it's got a lot more varietal.
Exactly.
Great. Okay. Cool.
And so that's like the majority. That's like the biggest one. And then the last island, the 6th island, is the island of death, and that's this swampy area and undead. It's overrun with undead and ghosts and things like that.
Nice.
All the spooky stuff happens there. So that was like I call it the Elemental Islands world, and it was entirely. I just thought it was a cool idea to have different elements make up these different core places, and then you're just the adventures are taking place across the different islands.
Well, you have a disparate things, like we can, as the story goes, like maybe we go to the volcano island. That's really scary. I mean, nobody likes lava. Everything dies in lava, whatever. But if you go around to different places to create different stories, it reminds me, because I do this a lot as a writer too. Like there's this. It reminds me of this, and then you pull this from here,
right?
Because everything. One thing that I learned when you're DMing and improvising, and it's okay to beg, borrow, and steal from things.
Absolutely.
You know, there's no harm in it, and there's no
do.
shame in it, because it allows somebody to identify with it and be like, oh, that sounds familiar. Oh, I like that idea, and identify with it, and it hopefully pulls them in, like it sucks them into the story a little bit easier. And I'm trying to remember what it's called. No, reminds me a little bit of Wizards of Earthsea, where it's all, it's the Ursula Le Guin series of books. And it's one of my it's younger adult stuff, but again, it's set in these series of islands and archipelagos and all that stuff, where it's not necessarily we have a big continent and we're huge fantasy castle cities. It's like, well, no, I mean, it's a rough life living on these islands, and you have to eke out an existence. And how do you work with people over there and trade over there? And that island's really rocky, and that island's a little more lush, so we got to go over here and here. I mean, that sounds cool. Yeah, I mean, sounds great.
It's a world. It's a campaign frame that campaign frame is a term from Daggerheart. It's a campaign frame that I've wanted to kind of explore more of. It's such a versatile thing. Like I've tried to run it a few times in a few campaigns. One, we just spent the entire time on boats. Another time, we literally never left the Life Island. It was, because everything's just jungle, and there's a lot of cool stuff that can happen there. So there's a lot of option.
I feel like it's got a lot of potential, right?
Correct.
A lot of story hooks, things that can create adventures and create stories for you to tell, and for hopefully the players to enjoy, right? So that's good. All right.
So that was one of our ideas that we talked about, and then I knew one of our players is very sci-fi minded.
Yep.
And so we were talking about, okay, well, how can we get them engaged? Because they're just not fantasy fans.
Right.
And I was like, well, what if we did like on these boats, there's lasers. And instead of gunpowder being the name of the game for this world, they're using magical crystals, right? That they're farming from these islands.
Yep.
And then they put the crystals refined and powered by magic into the cannons, and they fire a handful of laser blasts.
Right.
At the other ships,
but you have to keep
But you have to replenish the crystals.
Right. It is what do you call it? A used up. You're consuming.
Yep. It's a resource.
It's a resource. Yeah.
And then that also, one thing that I personally wanted to avoid is I didn't want to do gunpowder. I didn't want guns and muskets and all that stuff in the world.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that to overshadow the power of if somebody wanted to play a wizard or a sorcerer where they're slinging spells. I want them to still feel powerful. Right. So what that allows is instead of everything just being ranged based, you now have the magic casters are your ranged classes, and they're the ones that are, taking care of the other ships afar and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but the ships are still, melee is still the forefront of kind of how conflicts are resolved. Right. And so ships need to get close to each other and that kind of thing. So I think that could be a really cool thing. So that was one of the things that we approached to the group, and it sounds like the group is leaning toward that way.
I think so. I mean, I am definitely of the old school fantasy stuff. That's where my heart lies. High fantasy crap. Oh my gosh, it's Lord of the Rings, Wheel of Time, all that stuff. And
I think
which is fine.
This presents a pretty good middle ground.
Right. Now, the one thing that gets me, and I've talked about it a few times, and it gets me about Warhammer Age of Sigmar specifically, and this is my opinion again,
right?
But when you have a fantasy setting, and to me, fantasy very much relies upon that sword and sorcery, right? Like we are making weapons, armor, swords, bows and arrows, but then we have a little mystical aspect just to give us this edge. We've discovered magic, whatever it is, and that's your firepower, right? That's your ranged weapons, your pew-pews, your laser beams. And I know there's people that play it, but in Sigmar there's I think it's the card on Overlords and other stuff in Cities of Sigmar where they have guns and gunpowder, and I'm like, so is it fantasy? To me, that's the question I have.
There's still fantasy in it.
It is a little bit, but so that is one of the, like I said, for me, one of the defining lines between a fantasy world versus modern world versus sci-fi, stuff like that. So if this world that you're building and creating, well, we're going to lean toward that sci-fi.
I'm wanting to lean toward the fantasy.
Fantasy, okay.
I want Age of S.H.I.E.L.D. with a heavier lean toward fantasy than the industrial side of the Age of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And I think this...
that's what I want.
Well, no, I think that's great because that's getting my mind thinking. Much like when you watch Star Wars, the question is, do they ever run out of bullets? You could pew-pew all day long, bro.
Yeah.
And, of course, stormtroopers can't hit. But there's no, changing clips, reloading stuff. How do you recharge?
Only an Imperial stormtrooper would be so precise.
Yeah, right. Little did we know that they can't hit a broadside of a barn. But, for example, these crystals, if those crystals are the charge by which we shoot things, you have to find them. You have to make them. You have to build them. And if you have enough of them, that means you can go on this adventure. And then there's a whole, I'm like, oh, that means there's people who have to find the crystals. There's people who have to then charge the crystals.
Yep.
And then there's people who sell, okay. So you still get a sci-fi vibe and feel because you're not shooting a cannonball or bullet.
Right.
You're shooting a magic, I attack the darkness. You're shooting your magic missile, basically, which I think is cool. It's a laser beam. Still
And
lasers.
maybe at some point later in the campaign, or maybe early on in the campaign, if the group really wants handguns and that kind of thing,
Right.
maybe we all agree. Okay, well, maybe there are guns. Maybe they're using the same crystals, smaller versions of the crystals.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Is like you could like, if you go, all right. So as opposed to cross bows and arrows,
Right.
we have a little mini crossbow thing that you have to reload with a crystal. A bow with a crystal in it that maybe shoots energy as opposed to, because I did that.
Sure.
I love those.
Yeah,
ideas,
that's
that stuff. So you. I agree. I think that will scratch a little bit of that itch, hopefully, of like, well, it's technically not a laser pistol, but it is not a crossbow.
Right.
Right.
Another campaign idea that I had that I wanted to approach the group with, and we kind of talked about all this in the text thread very briefly. Another one that I was kind of interested in, because again, catering toward the one guy that is very high fantasy.
Yeah.
Was Weird West,
Right.
where it's the Wild West. You've got horses, you've got towns out in the desert, and kind of steampunky stuff. You've got the gunpowder, you've got the revolvers, six shots. You've got all that stuff, but there's also weird magic going on.
Right.
And so you've got the spellcasters, and there's maybe more of a a voodoo bent to the magic, as a lot of Weird West tends to lean.
Right.
And so that way it still has the fantasy elements, but they're all wearing cowboy hats.
Right.
Because that's what magic does. Magic the Gathering. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So that was one of the ideas,
Great.
and that seemed to get a little bit of traction, but it wasn't as exciting as lasers. And then the other option that I had was I was loving the world building that I had done for the Dragon World.
Yeah.
But I never got to finish that campaign. I don't want to retell that story because I've kind of spoiled a lot of it.
Right.
Like at this point, I've told people about the church.
Yeah.
It was really cool when like in that campaign, the group is like traveling from point A to point B, and as a random encounter, I said, "You guys come across the aftermaths of a battle a little ways off of the city. There's smoke in the ground, a lot of bodies laying on the ground, and you see members of the church. There's a priest there and a bunch of like the temple guards, all at this battle, this aftermath, and they're taking up the corpses of the kobolds and the fallen soldiers and even some of the smaller dragons, and they're putting them onto carts. And these carts are piled high with these bodies.
Yeah.
And they approached them and they tried to like engage with them, but they were being really cagey, and they were like, "This is really weird."
Yeah. I'm smelling weirdness. Yeah.
So they end up leaving it. They still didn't expect the army of undead at the gates. Q had said that caught him completely off guard, which was super rad. And
I love that. Yeah.
I'm really, really happy. He was like, it made sense and it was super cool. I didn't expect it at all. I was worried that I was like being a little too open-handed with it. I was trying to plant the seeds, but I wanted it to kind of be a surprise.
Right. Well, it's like any story you're telling, whether you're reading a book, watching a movie, playing a game, right? If you can, because this is what I'm working on right now with my writing, is like, I just want to leave the breadcrumbs. And hopefully it's enough to engage the players or the readers or the viewers, but you don't show your hand right away. So when you have a revelation, everybody's like, and you look back like, it was right there the whole time. Like, yes, the church is evil and it's summoning dead bodies. Like, but we didn't. Right. That moment when all the players go, dude, you just blew my mind
It was super
fantastic.
Cool. So
yes.
I won't be able to revisit that exact campaign again, which is a little sad, but
fine.
Whatever.
Well, you can always like go back in the time. You can
So that was the other idea I had, was maybe we go back to that world and we could do one of two stories. We could do the story of what happened before the war.
Right.
How did this 1,000-year war kick off?
Yeah.
Tell that story. Or we could do the story of the aftermath. The 1,000-year war has ended, but now there's this church that is got an army of undead that is ruling the
Well,
lands.
then you go, well, who won? Did the church win or the dragons win? Like, that's the thing.
Correct.
Like, if the church wins and they are now, I just said, like, influenced by the dark side, and then people are coming back, the world is getting repopulated, but there's something wrong, right? There's like an underlying current of darkness underneath it.
Correct.
Or if the dragons win, you're like, well, now we have a dragon,
A true dragon apocalypse.
true dragon apocalypse. And then do people survive? Can we come back from that? I don't know. The first option, I love that idea of now that post-war and we build up to another epic conflict. But it's like the good guys won. But did they? But did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a great
so that
story
was
hook. Yep.
That was another option, and I've got ideas for. I obviously know how the Dragon War started. At least like nothing's been codified, but because I left it intentionally vague in the game. This war's been going on 1,000 years. Most of society has crumbled and been destroyed. What little records and books exist in the world are all guarded and kept in secrecy by the church that's being very cagey and very secretive.
Yeah.
And they're walling off, access to the upper levels of the city. So nobody truly knows how the war started.
Right.
100 generations ago or 10 generations ago.
Yeah.
So that was absolutely one of the options was let's tell how that story fell, and I've got ideas on
I like that.
how it fell. Of course, that would change with play.
Right. But like for story hooks and stuff like that, as I said, as a writer and those ideas, I get excited. Like that world of the post-war world is kind of exciting because it's the this church and society's real stuff, but it's like have the characters found a book or found a object that's like this is supposed to be illegal, like this is not supposed to exist, right. Now, and again, it's a bad habit that I have kind of gotten into because I do a screenwriting group, and we always make this comparison of it. It's like this movie meets this movie, or it's this story meets this story that creates a new thing.
I think that's good for RPGs,
which is great. So there's a TV show out there called Silo.
I haven't seen it.
The idea is this society lives in a silo, which I think is an old missile silo that's being repurposed because something terrible happened in the past.
Right.
And this is we're living now. But enough time has passed that people have forgotten. And the knowledge is controlled by a group of people here. Yeah. And then this group is the police force. And then there's something hidden. Something's wrong. And then something happens. And people are like, and anything that you find from the past is like you're basically killed if you hold it, which is
okay.
That's so you find a Pez dispenser, bro. It's just a it's crazy. But the thing is one of the things I liked about that story is the idea that how quickly things can be forgotten.
Right.
And how do people, because the cool thing about humanity is we are very curious. We're always trying to push forward and search for that knowledge to answer these questions that we have.
Right.
And suddenly, if you just live in this confined area, you're like, well, something's going to happen, that someone's going to knock something and find something that shifts their paradigm.
Right.
And how is that going to mess with no church or no controlling body wants to have their paradigm shifted, but yet somehow it just happens all the time. So when you start finding these objects and asking these questions, as a character, you go, what does this mean? I found a book from 1,000 years, or whatever, a piece of paper that talks about the Dragon War. And everybody's like, there was a Dragon War? Wait, huh? Like, no, shh. Sir, can you hand me that, please? I will take, they eat it, whatever. But I think that's intriguing because it does set up the characters to ask questions in this story to go like, how did this happen? Who are we? What are we doing here?
Right.
and through that finding a cool story to tell.
Yeah.
That gets me excited.
Yeah.
You know,
The world is being rebuilt.
right? In whose image, like how and why,
Right.
and like yeah. All those questions start popping up in my head. I'm like, that sounds fun.
So, yeah,
the island world does the same thing to me. I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun. Yeah.
So those were a few of the ideas that I had. And so, you know, when we get together for our character creation in session 0, we'll iron out which world we end up solidifying on as a group.
Great.
And then explore the options. You know, I can talk then about what my ideas for the world is and the inspirations. We can align and then do shared world. I love to do shared world building.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, in the Dragon campaign, I had created a map of that corner of the continent where the story took place. And I put in a bunch of things and I marked locations of buildings and towns, but I didn't name any of them.
Yeah.
I didn't put anything on the map. And it worked really well because in the nature of the game, most of that area is wild and forgotten. And so it's like, okay, well, where are you from? I'm from this village. Okay, let's put that on the map.
Yeah.
Here it is. I'm from, you know, I'm playing a dwarf. Okay, well, the dwarf city was the last city to fall. It fell 15 years ago.
Yeah.
What happened 15 years ago?
Yeah. How did you survive?
What was the name of the dwarf city?
Yeah.
Right. And so the all of the map in that world is created collaboratively with my players. And so we do the same thing, right?
That's great.
You know, I came up with the name of Sindala and Bastion for the last city because that was like my idea for that city. But I left a lot of the other stuff open to the players to name and describe and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it would be like, hey, I'm going from this place to this place. Okay, well, you come across this point here on the map that I have marked. What do you find there? And let them kind of draw that out.
Okay.
Most of the time it would be like I would get the idea of what I wanted it to be. Like at one point they were traveling to the Dwarven City, and along the path to the Dwarven City there is a grove of trees. And in the middle of the grove of trees, as they were going to that, I thought, well, this would be cool if this was like this point in the Feywild where the Feywild dimension was bleeding into the real world, and that's why there's this hard conglomerate of trees, and so they get into this grove and suddenly things start looking weird. People start acting weird, and
do not eat the mushrooms.
So the way I described it was you meet the elves of this forest. They take you to their village. You climb way up into the trees and you start crossing these bridges. And as you're crossing the bridges, you start noticing that the flowers are looking a little bit brighter, a little bit more colorful. You see a bird flying across, and its tail feathers are 100 feet long, rainbow colored, shimmering, right? And the bird flies over. You see, and then you get to the center where the elder is. You go inside to meet the elder, and inside the elder is kind of pressed into the tree, like they're part of the tree. And there's vines that are snaking down, and they're almost moving on their own. And you look closer at them, and they are indeed snakes, but wooden snakes, and they're alive. And everything's really weird. And then they get outside, and they're like, you see a huge bulbous flower. And as you get closer, the flower opens, and inside it's the face of a child. And they're like, nope, we're done. We're out.
I was going to say,
we're gone.
And then you turn around.
This place is... And they never went back to it again.
And you turn around, and your friend's on fire, and he's like, guys, I don't feel so good.
It was too weird for them. It was just... But that was all an idea that I had at the last minute.
And that's one thing that I didn't do, and I think 3.5 and back in the day
Yeah.
did lean a little more hack slash. Now, we were in high school, so hack and slash was kind of the flavor of the day, as it were.
Right.
There was some world building and creation, all that stuff, but I think that's really cool. Having your players, as you build your character, you kind of help build the world.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about the character creation and stuff like that. You got these great printouts and play guide and all your character sheet sidecars. So you got like stuff to help you go through and the ways to think and how to do your player. But one thing's that, and we still have time for it, I think, because we started early. This is great. In the set, you have cards. And
Right.
now, hopefully, I'm not skipping ahead.
No, you're fine.
So as we look at the class options, and it also comes with cards. Now, what are the cards used? What are they for, dude?
So the cards are used for. It's the fancy edition. So they're
look at this.
gilded
There you
edges.
go. Ooh.
The cards are used for a few different things.
Okay.
So the bard's on the top here. So those cards go over like the different class features.
Okay.
And part of it, if you look at the bard there in the book, is there's two different paths that you can choose, subclasses
Right. To use
of the bard.
Yeah, subclasses. Yeah.
And so you can choose one of the two subclasses. So the card just gives you a printout of the ability. You can easily write that down on a piece of paper and just say, this is my ability. And that's what you would do in D&D.
Right.
But having the physical cards,
love
it's just
cards.
kind of nice to have something to quickly reference. And then some of those cards are for the level up stuff.
Okay, yes, because you have your troubadour to use bards. So the subclasses are troubadour or wordsmith. And then you have 6 cards here, and each one is 3 foundation, specialization, and mastery. So you can go through, and as your character grows, you get more and more powerful or more and more specialized in your subclass, which is cool. Yeah.
And then you'll also choose an ancestry and a community that your character comes from. So the ancestries are it's your race, to use the old 3.5 term. Species.
Your species.
They're moving away from the word race for reasons.
I don't know why. It's fine.
So you choose kind of what species your character was born from.
Okay.
And there's a few different options there. One of the things that's
There's
really
quite a few. This is great.
there's a lot actually. One of the things that's super cool that I like about it is they allow you to kind of mix and match. So if you wanted to do a half species of any two species, you'll choose, if you look at each of the cards, you'll notice that there's 2 abilities for each ancestry.
Yeah.
So you can choose the top ability from one ancestry and the bottom ability from a different ancestry. So if you wanted to be a half-orc, you could look at the human, you could look at the orc, and you can pick the top ability for, say, the human, the bottom ability for the orc. Now you're a half-orc. So you can kind of pick from there.
Okay.
And then the last part that you choose is the community, which is kind of what part of society did your character grow up in?
Origin-ish. What's up? All right.
Do you hail from the wild?
Right.
Have you been wandering?
City, urban, underdark, whatever. Yeah. To say that, like wilderness, village. Ooh. All right. Now, with these cards, are they? Is the idea that you randomly pick them, or is it like
you could?
So you could shuffle them out and be like, "Hey, of these 4, do any of these speak to you to create a character?" And you go, "Yes, yes, no."
You could absolutely do that. I think that's a super cool idea.
Yeah.
I think the intention is more just to have to save you from having to write things down.
Right.
Where it really gets involved is with these cards here.
The other set of cards.
Yeah.
Great.
The other 3 boxes.
All right, don't want to mix them up. Here, let me give you the bard guys back.
So the last types of cards is each class is 2 domains.
Okay.
So if we look at the domains are like the origin of the abilities. The bard is a mixture of, if you flip, I think it's the next page. Nope, next one. Nope, next one. Nope, next one. Nope, next one. There it is. So
the domains.
So the domains, there's different types of basically schools of abilities.
Right. All right.
Is the origin of their abilities.
So you've got like Arcana, Blade, Bone, Codex, Grace, Midnight, Sage, Splendor, Valor. I'm getting a little bit of like a Magic the Gathering, like those
bit.
color vibes, like earth, air, water, fire,
Right.
like kind of that sort of thing. Like, what is your, well, as they say, your core theme of each class? Right. So you can combine it. So you can have
it's defined.
Each class comes from a domain. Oh, here we go.
So if you look at the wheel,
Yep.
right now the wheel defines the two domains that are next to each other is one class.
Okay.
So
let's say if I was playing a bard, I am attached to Grace or Codex, right?
Right.
Which links to, are you a wordsmithing bard or a troubadour bard, right? Kind of where you want to land.
Correct. Well, a little bit. I mean, there's no
like, you're not railroaded into something, but these are the influences that help create the core of your class.
Correct.
Okay.
So what'll end up happening is when you make your character, you're going to have access
so many cards
to all of the cards for the Grace
so many cards
and Codex domains.
Okay. All
right. Now, there's also numbers on the top, which is the levels. So we're only going to look at the level ones for right now for the sake of this example.
Keep it easy on me, dude.
So as a bard, you would have access to those 6 cards during character creation, and you would choose 2 of them. And those are the abilities that your character has.
Okay, great.
And then as you level up, you get access to even more abilities that you choose 1 card for and that kind of thing. So you get to customize your character from all of these different abilities. And the cards kind of help reference the abilities as well as kind of give you a little bit of a scope of the number of variations that you can choose from.
Yeah. Again, like the seeds from which you build your character. Like we're giving you just ideas that you would either back in the day write down on your character sheet or...
And you still can write them down. The book has all of the card text in the back of it. So if you don't want to play with cards at all, if you're opposed to playing with cards, you just
go
grab...
go to the index and write it all down?
Just write it all down.
I mean, I did like the fact that... What was it? Was it version 4 or 5? I don't know. When they started coming out with spell cards and these cards so that you didn't have to write everything down.
4th edition.
Yeah, you just had these are the cards I have.
I loved the cards in 4th edition.
It's like, and that way I don't have to look through the book all the time.
Yep.
Like I've got my magic missile, my fireball, my this, and I have my card for that. Exactly. And once I cast it, I can like turn it upside down or whatever. Yep. So great. Okay. Let me I'll hand those back to you there, dude. Oh, he's gonna have me more. No. More. Again.
So
many cards, Paul. I love it. I freaking love it.
We talked a little bit about the kind of what the conversation looks like for choosing a world. That'll then influence. So hopefully what I wanted to do, and we're at time, but what I wanted to do is hopefully that kind of you can looking at the different types of classes, the different type of ancestries that exist. Hopefully that kind of gets your brain juices flowing as far as what kind of character you want to be in our laser pirate setting.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, when I played, I was almost always a ranger or a wizard sorcerer. Those are the 2 I almost always went toward.
Right.
Because for whatever reason, I like my bows, I like my pew-pews, and I like my firing magic missiles.
Your poo-poos?
My poo-poos. I like my poo-poo platters. But that's great. I mean, again, variations on a theme. You know, you got your basic ideas, but how is Daggerheart gonna make their own twist on it and make it interesting, and how to make it interesting for a player to engage with the character creation and run that character, and then make it interesting for you as a DM or GM to help create and tell a cool story.
Exactly.
And so far, the stuff that you've talked about, the ideas of hope and what's the other side of it? Sorry,
fear.
Hope and fear. Mm-hmm. And then not having too many skills, but like if you want to think about what you want to do, and then the GM is going to try to figure out what skills will help you do that.
Exactly.
And then between the 2 of you and the other players, hopefully you can create a cool event.
Yep.
like a micro event that turns into another one, that turns into another one, you know. You're not just, again, I love that phrase, you're not just murder hobos running around. You're like, we're actually going to try to do something. And, well, you could still do that.
Hopefully benefit the world.
Hopefully, yeah, for the benefit of everybody. Oh, my gosh. Well, yes, I do think we're at time. The Mike and Michael have shown up to open up the store, which is awesome.
Kicked out.
We're getting kicked out. Well, this has been another awesome adventure, Paul.
Always.
It's been a great morning to talk about games and hopefully start our new adventure in a role-playing of Daggerheart.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think it should be
I think
good.
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. As we like to say, always check out the Discord. Paul and I are on there a good bit. If you guys got questions or comments about the podcast, by all means, reach out to us.
Please.
Post inside the Discord. Also, check us out online. I'm sure there's the Facebook community and other online stuff for you to reach out. And, of course, we're a physical store here in Phoenix. So if you're here in the Phoenix area, please swing by. Pop in, have a game or two. It would be great to say hello. And on that note, we will say adios, folks, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Love you, bye! Bye, nerds!
Let's play.
Shall we play a game?